About 2.5 years ago, I coached his daughter, and Jeff came up and was involved himself in helping me coach. You know, he said, "Hey, if you need anything, any help and all," and I said, "Jump in." You know, I didn't know who he was or anything, but and it ended up his daughter was the best player on our team. I mean, you know, she really was, and this was a co-ed team. You know, she was like any other. No, and you can tell by the way they play. They get after it. They, you know, each and every, my daughter is close friends with Corinne. In fact, she's at our house right now. And my son is close friends with Curtis. And now they're both as competitive and both as accomplished. You know, passion. Jeff was very passionate about the game. He'd get it to the point where sometimes, you know, people might perceive it as like, you know, yelling at the players or what have you, but, you know, and he'd give a lot of, "Oh, what are you doing?" You know, that stuff. But he was very involved, and the kids knew that he loved them, you know, and he did. The guy coached, I think, 30 years, I don't know. He's a legend around here, and I found out about the legend when I first met him coaching his daughter. I had no idea, but yeah, you could tell by the way he involved himself and all. You know, I don't know anyone else that put the time and effort as Jeff did. He's, you know, he was involved thoroughly, and you could pretty much ask for anything from him and he'd do it. So, you know, I don't know that they're going to be able to replace that. I mean, he's got a legacy here. He's got 11 kids, and you can tell by the kids themselves what a great guy Jeff was, what a good man, you know. So he'll live on, but it won't be the same. It won't. You're not going to have someone that does what Jeff did. Excuse me.
One is, you know, of course, I met Nick right before he entered the 9th grade, and we made an instant connection, just one of those things. And he said he was going to wrestle, and we always kept in touch in football. And next thing you know, he comes down and he wrestles as a freshman. He was one of those few kids you get that you make an instant connection with, and he gets to be a little natural at wrestling. They usually got to work with kids. And so Jeff comes up and starts grilling me. I had known him a little before. We really didn't know each other, but we became instant, just like with Nick. It became instant because it was something that he never did other than backyard stuff, but it was great. So, you know, he says, I said, believe me, this is a sport for him. Believe me. I know he's good in football and lacrosse and everything else, but this is for him. Just take my word for it. So sure enough, right early in the year, we needed somebody to go in the varsity spot. Nick would do anything. He'd just do anything. And he had just a knack for it. So I said to Jeff, just relax, everything will be all right. Oh, he's wrestling. I said, relax. And I sent a couple of guys in the stands. I said, keep an eye on him, because I think he's going to run out on the mat. And you might need some help. You might have to. So they thought I was kidding. Well, sure enough, Nick's losing. He's now all of a sudden, he just instinctively comes up from behind and does the right thing and turns the kid over and pins the varsity kid. So sure enough, I took my eye off Jeff. Big mistake. Those guys weren't watching. He's flying out of the stands, knocking everybody over. And there he is, practically out of the mat. I had to grab him in a bear hug. So he's so excited. Because I said, you can't go grab him until he shakes hands and leaves the mat. You can't go on it. It's just the way every sport has to. So he's going crazy. He's hyperventilating. I'm squeezing all my might trying to hold him. I'm sweating. And there comes Nick off the mat. And the three of us all jumping up and down, hugging each other, you know. So there's thousands of great stories we had after that. And I'm getting choked up a little bit just thinking about that now, because the excitement he had. And then all of a sudden he became the biggest recruiter for wrestling, telling all the kids, because, you know, everyone followed him, you know. And he's trying to tell everyone, and he's choking and stuttering. He's so excited. You got to have your kid do this. You got to have your kid do that. You got to have your I said, Jeff, just go around and calm down and tell everyone about it and send them down. But that was a great memory. I'll never forget. I mean, of course, we had hundreds more, but just that great thing, because he thought Nick was going to lose. It's his first match, and he thought he was overmatched, but we knew that he wasn't. He's one of those special kids that will get in there and be ready. And then, of course, later that same year, there's a couple of great ones. We were over at Norwood, and they had to go pick up Jerry at the airport or something. And he said, we're going to have time. I said, look, I can't predict it. So Nick gets in the varsity match. He pins an outstanding kid. Jeff's crazy, and then Norwood loved it because they're all crazy down there. And then they rushed off and went and picked up Jerry. And another time, Jerry got in just in time, and Nick was wrestling JV this time. So Jerry got there just in time to see him. This was at home in Northshire. And the kid didn't show up, or something happened. He changed his mind. So I said, geez, Nick's in his street clothes there. They just got back. All of a sudden, they go, we got a guy for you. And I look, and Nick, all of a sudden, Jeff's going, come on! So in like three minutes, he's totally in his wrestling uniform, shoes up, ready to go. I've never seen anything like it. Goes out, pins the kid, goes back and sits in the stands with Jeff and Jerry. Yeah, just great stuff. But that first one where Jeff went out of his mind because he didn't really know what it was about. And, we had to restrain him and hugging him. And I got the workout of my life trying to restrain him from the mat. And then once the kid came off the mat, we're all hugging. People looking at us because they really didn't understand, what the excitement was all about. But they figured it out pretty soon. Yeah, it was great. He's just always there. I mean, he still come down to the matches, well after Nick graduated, because he knows everybody, obviously. And every once in a while, we don't have that many home matches, but every once in a while you get a home match and you look up and you see him standing up there. He's there even before you get there. He just has that presence there where the kids flocking around him. And, of course, I always tease him. I said, get all the girls in, boys, everybody. Because a couple of the girls used to come down and wrestle in the youth wrestling and beat everybody up and go home. And I'm always teasing him about Curtis. I know he's a basketball star, but I always tease him. I said, geez, you got to get everyone back in here. Everybody. I said, send the whole family down. It'll be half the team right there. Right?
I've known Jeff through Pop Warner football because our sons played on the same Mustangs team for like 4 years. But we did game films for the coaches and new TV for the past 2 years. Jeff was doing the narrating, the commentating, play-by-play, and I was doing the filming. So, well, one thing I realized about Jeff was that he was always right in his calling of football. He was very knowledgeable, and he would predict plays like the Mustangs have a play where they would trick the other team into stepping over the line of scrimmage, and so the Mustangs would usually do that on the third down, close to 5 yards of getting the first down, and Jeff would always call that before it happened, and I would be like, what are you talking about? How do you know that? And sure enough, it would happen. And he was just always very complimentary of all the coaches, all the players. He would encourage players to what to do. He would point out things to them, and he would congratulate good plays. And he was just all around amazing at doing commentary. Like, most people compare him to sort of a Johnny Most type voice, and that's what I thought when I first heard him. To me, Jeff was this larger-than-life kind of guy, always making people laugh, sharing a story, and just a really good guy. And to me, it just, the 2 days after Jeff passed away, and it was the game against Somerville, and it was the Greater Boston League, the GBL championship. It was just so quiet in the booth, and Jeff was such a presence. That's what I really miss about him. Just a unique guy, and he was kind of the guy that when he walked in the room, everyone noticed him. Well, I think the other day at the Sportsathon where there were over 350 kids, I mean, that was the effect he had. He touched so many lives, and I think all the kids that he coached appreciated what he did for them, and it was great to see that, and just to realize that, just volunteer for things, help out, contribute, and that's what Jeff did. I have 2 kids and I'm tired all the time, and Jeff has 11, so I don't know how he did it. His family car was a van. If he can do it with 11 kids, I mean, anybody can do it. Anybody can find the time. So you just got to make the time.